Hey folks, Mike Barron here. Every time we do a crowdfunder, we place it on Fund My Comic because Luke Stone is a great guy. He's a stand-up guy, and most importantly, Fund My Comic is very comic creator friendly. They won't kick you off if some purple-haired freak writes in and tells them to kick you off. His fees are also very low. I recommend Fund My Comic for any comic or graphic novel projects you intend to do.
Look at you being all awake and stuff. You're reading words, and you probably aren't even stabbing anybody right now. You deserve a coffee, you little ray of sunshine.
In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Geek talk all about the bizzle. A panel of pros who got that old school bizzle. Make the bird dance and listen to the sizzle. Sit back and relax and listen to the sizzle.
Happy freaking New Year.
Happy New Year.
Margaritas antipocos.
Margaritas antipocos. You know what that means?
I don't know what that means.
Means pearls before swine.
Oh boy. Coming out hot, 2025. So I've got my Beatles shirt on.
Good.
Because it's just me and you for a little while this morning.
Yep.
And instead of coffee.
All those lightweights just can't make it.
If you notice here, instead of coffee.
I know, tea.
Ooh.
Finally, America getting civilized.
Tea, yeah. Little London fog in the morning. Refreshing. There we go. Yeah, so how was your New Year's, man? What'd you
do? Just stayed in. Had a nice dinner, glass of wine, watched some rubbish on the TV at midnight, and wondered why we were watching that rubbish again.
Yeah, I missed a couple of things. So we started watching this show called The Squid Games, and it's season 2 of it. It's a Korean show. And it's pretty entertaining. It's got really good writing in it.
What's it
These
about?
people are basically rounded up, like these people are hard on their luck, are picked to play this game, these games, right? And they're like kids games. But if you lose, you're eliminated. And by eliminated, I mean killed. So
it's a snuff movie.
Well, yes and no. So the first season was about this guy making it through and how he won. The second season is him going back in. And well, it's like season 2 and 3 are really one season, but they're separated by a big break. So they left it at like this major cliffhanger.
So he's doing this silly game where if you don't win, you die. So he's doing what Christopher Walken did in The Deer Hunter. Then he's getting away with it and then going back and doing it again.
Well, he's doing it to try to stop it now. Like he wants to put an end to him because he lost friends and stuff in there, you know. So
okay,
it's actually really good. I mean, it's worth the watch. You kind of chuckle right now, but you start watching that show, I guarantee you'll be like, "What? What?" Like you get hooked. I mean, it's actually some good writing. There's very few TV shows or series that I think have decent writing, and it's all well done. Characterization is done well. They did get a little woke in this one. You know, but I mean, you know, South Korea, they're a little further down the woke train than we are. So
really,
that's to be expected. Yeah. Same with Canada. I think even the UK is a little further down the woke train than we are. I think we're seeing where it's going and we're trying to get rid of it. But yeah, I finally went on to X and found out that there was a lot of crazy things. There was a dude with an ISIS flag that ran over some people New Year's Eve here in Louisiana.
in New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. And then there was this. I don't know if you saw this or not. Check this out.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
Copy.
Fireworks in there. Look at that.
I just heard a boom.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually outside. I thought it was a person in the hallway.
The boom, yeah. I was teased because. So they're investigating that as a terror attack alongside the other one. And yeah, so it's I think it's gonna be an interesting year.
It's gonna be an interesting 2 weeks until Trump gets back in.
Yeah, 20 days. Yeah, well, less than that, 19 days now. I'm telling you, I don't think it'd be soon enough. We gotta get that border locked down, but apparently they're using this new app that you can rent vehicles, and so there's like not really background checks or anything, and so they rented those vehicles, both of them. So they're not even their vehicles. Some poor sap rented out their Ford and their Tesla on this app, and wound up having it destroyed.
And now they'll be being investigated.
Yep.
And because they're still alive, their investigation will be further.
Yeah. Bunny saying we didn't pay taxes on tea. No, we didn't. We didn't pay no taxes on tea.
Don't blame you.
Could you imagine all of the proper Brits?
Just think of all that. Just think of all that hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes sales you've lost in the past 250 years because you little belligerent upstarts who complained.
Belligerent upstarts.
And the joke is that you all came from here anyway. So
we did, yeah.
You're arguing with each other.
That's why we were hooked on. That's why we were hooked on tea. The coffee took its place.
The only time I drink coffee is when I'm in the United States.
Right. Yeah.
I believe that when you're in Rome, you should do as the Romans do.
Right. Does that include the gay stuff?
The gay stuff. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
I know what you mean. What do you mean?
They talked a lot about in Rome they had a lot of
oh, see what you mean.
Little boy prostitutes. Stuff
it's
like
an
that.
expression. It's an expression.
Okay, so I don't have to worry.
Man, everyone's gay once in a while.
I click my fingers and you won't be gay.
I was never gay. Oh, that video is so funny. In case our viewers haven't seen it, let's see if we can find that.
Did you see the one I posted about the Nigerian guy reading the football results?
No.
You not see? Oh, I'll send that to you. That is the funniest thing you've ever seen. You can't say the names. We have a team called West Bromwich Albion, and he calls them. He's reading the results, and he says, "2, Manchester United 1." He knows Manchester United. You see?
Yeah, everybody knows Manchester United. That's like the only one they know, right?
But it's got to see him. You got to see him. He's just so funny.
I think it's called Snap My Fingers Never Gay. Ah, there it is. That's the one. Yeah, hold on. Give me a second to load this here. This guy, his friend is just so like, well, what? It's like the greatest, it's the greatest buddy troll that I've ever seen. And here we go.
I snap my fingers. You forget that you were ever gay.
I was never gay.
Exactly.
Wait, no, stop.
Yes.
No, stop. You can't. I was never gay.
Okay.
No, I was never gay.
Sure.
You can't just state something and snap your fingers and then be like, I was never gay.
If you say so.
if you say so.
Oh, that's funny.
Look, this guy's energy. Okay, sure. If you say so. It's fantastic. I don't know. Have you seen this one? I feel like I feel like this is generally social media in the media in general, maybe. It's one way to keep him busy, right? Keep him busy. That'll keep him real busy. Before we get too far into this, let's go and welcome our chat. We got Frederick Lamont in the house. We got Bunny over here. There's Marv V. Welcome, Marv V. It's good to have you here. Yes, Oni64 is in the house. Oi, oi, oi. Good to have you here. You know what? I paid the American sales tax on that tea. I did. Unfortunately, I did. Tree Goblin's in the house. Welcome, Tree Goblins. Good to have you here. The tea tax was to pay for Royal Navy protection. Without it, your shipping was pirated.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, you know, same way with there's nothing wrong with the mob then, right? You know, you're paying for protection. Unfortunately, it's from them. So it turned out most pirates were also Brits. So it's just an organized crime family.
And you know who it was pirated by, don't you?
Yeah.
Americans. It's what we say over here. Bollocks. It's all bollocks.
Yeah, I guess there's a weird fog too.
Yeah, we had the fog. Yeah,
some weird fog. We're supposed to get a lot of snow tonight.
Yeah,
like
we've
rain,
been getting
snow stuff.
We've been getting 7 inches of snow every night for the past 3 weeks, and it hasn't happened yet. But it hasn't happened. We've had a lot of rain, and a lot of fog, but no snow.
Guys. It's coming. Be prepared. Be prepared.
It's going to be the snow revolution.
So, are you familiar with a guy named Norm Macdonald?
No.
He's an American comedian, and he had a very unique style. He passed away recently. He had a very unique style, and it's part of like his delivery and just the absurdity of his jokes that made him really funny. But there's this one I found from him, and I thought, you know, I think Glenn might like this one.
Okay.
So here is a bit from Norm Macdonald.
Guy comes in. I says, what do you want? I can't serve you, you know. He goes, I don't want a drink, he says, you know. He says, I want to shoot a dart at your dartboard. I said, I'm not going to let you. That'd be dangerous. That's a sharp thing, a dart. Right, one shot, that's it. So the guy shoots the dart, bullseye. I never seen anything like it, you know. Even in his state, bullseye. So the guy says to me, he says, what do I win? So I start looking around. There's a shoebox with a turtle in it. So I was going to give it as a gift to my nephew. Later, I thought, that's a dumb gift, a turtle. Nobody likes a turtle, you know. The kid will probably just put him on his back until he dies. Kids are cruel, you know. So I said, why not just give it to this drunk? I said, here's your prize, here it is. And so the guy takes it in a shoebox, you know, and he goes, thanks, and he walks out with it. 2 weeks later, the guy shows up again, drunk again. I want to shoot a dart at your dartboard. I say, yeah, but you can't do that again. You're not as luck. He goes, let me try. So he takes it, shoots it, bullseye again.
Oh, man.
So he goes, what do I win? What did you win last time? He goes, oh, last time I won a roast beef on a hard roll.
I have seen him. Yeah, I didn't know his name.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's Canadian, but you know, he didn't live there. He lived here, so we get that. Yeah, what'd you win? I won a roast beef on a hard roll. Drunk just muscled right through that shell. That's funny. Pretty funny stuff. I like that. Yeah. So Randy is coming today, folks, but he'll be here a little bit later. But it will be, who knows? He's got to go to the bank. My wife's at the bank. She works there. It's great. So,
I'm going to send you this guy reading this results. I don't know whether you want to show a bit of it. Just a second. I'll send it to you on a private chat.
Dr. Mass says there's nothing wrong with a good roast beef on a hard roll. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
I've sent it to you on the Nerd Bacon thing, Luke.
All right. While we're doing that here, let's. I know you're familiar with. Shaquille O'Neal. Check this out.
Ever been a celebrity sitting courtside that made you play differently?
No, I wouldn't say made me nervous or they came to see us.
You lying. Want me to go first?
Yeah.
Sherry Headley from Coming to America. We at the Garden, and I'm shooting video, and she walking down. I damn near shoot an air ball.
No.
And we make the eye contact, and she give me the little wink. I go back to the huddle. I say, I don't give what play they call. Throw me that motherfucker every time. I'm getting that motherfucker. I'm dunking. I'm looking for him. Got my legs up. I'm talking shit. And then after the game, she was in the back with her husband.
For the bag, she was in the back with her husband. Yeah, I like how Shaq's like, you're all lying, trying to act cool over here. Yeah. Has there ever been anyone in your career that's made you, I don't know, act differently? Like, have you ever met a celebrity or a hero of yours or anything like that?
Well, I've met a lot of people, but I went relevant to this. But when I went to see Jack Kirby, he changed me because I didn't speak for half an hour. I couldn't talk. I couldn't say anything. He kept asking me who I was. I couldn't speak. I couldn't believe that we're sitting in the dining room of this guy, you know. And I was 33, you know. It wasn't as if I was 12. I was 33, and I'm sitting there eating
You're
this
a grown
food.
man acting a
and I'm thinking,
grown man acting
I don't know what I'm doing here. And everybody else who was there was just having a laugh. And you know, my ex was showing Roz how to make tea and this kind of stuff, and everybody was just really talking, and he just kept looking at me and said, who are you again? What's your name? Why are you here? You know, I couldn't speak.
There's this weird dude. Here's this weird guy that's staring at me.
There's this English guy, you know.
Thank you, Infinite Entertainment, for the super chat. Hello, lads. Hope you're having an extra crispy morning. Except for Luke. It's not what you've done, Luke. It's because of what you're going to do. Yes. We all know. I'm trouble. You know what? So I have not left the house since, so New Year's Eve, I didn't go outside. I was able to stay inside the whole time. I didn't even go on the front porch.
Wow.
And then yesterday, I was like, out of principle, it's like, I'm going to bring in the new year the way I took the old year out. And I'm not going to go outside. I stay inside.
Well, we went out last night late looking at the stars and Mars and Jupiter and everything. It was fantastic. Really clear, you know. Absolutely. We're going out again tonight. Brilliant.
Yeah. Marv says, I miss watching NBA. I was a Boston Celtics fan and played almost every day with friends, and now you have to pay to see it. Honestly, yeah. So a lot of the games are blocked out. I bought the NBA pass, and a lot of the local games were blocked out on it, so I couldn't see them. So I couldn't watch the Pacers. But this year, I guess more than 50% drop in viewership on the NBA. So they've been bankrolling the WNBA for years. So let's see what happens there. So here's a video. This is the video that you just shared.
English Premier League. Everton 1, Manchester United 3. Crystal Palace 4, Leeds United 1. Chelsea 4, Sheffield United 1. West Ham 1, Fulham 0. Sunday, West Bromwich 0. Tottenham Hotspur 1. Leicester City 1. Wolverhampton 0. Manchester City 1. Liverpool 1. Arsenal 0. A strong village.
Village.
He's trying, man. He's giving it. He sounds a lot like me trying to pronounce some of these names.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Sheffield is like, okay, and I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, he's like, man, he just soldiered on through. What a trooper, man. What a friggin' trooper. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that one's funny. That was funny. Well, you know what? I think it might be time to present a little news this morning. I think that we let me see, what do we have going on? Yeah, we've got some good stuff to talk about. It's all right, Scholastic sales, including Book Fair, is in decline. You know what? I played the wrong video clip. Here, let's rectify.
Doom and gloom coming soon.
There we go. That's more like it. Doom and gloom coming soon. Despite growth in numbers of fairs, still have a decline. Scholastic Corporation reported year-over-year quarterly sales decline in both trade and book fairs. In its most recent quarterly report, despite growth in the number of fairs, schools, apparently they misspelled that because they have to fix that, right? Schools booked the largest number of fall fairs since the pandemic. Scholastic CEO Peter Warwick told analysts in the conference call last week, but book fair revenues were down 5% from the year ago quarter. The company said that a larger proportion of fall season fairs were ending up in December after the period ended, but acknowledged lower revenue per fair, which is attributed to the addition of new, smaller fairs into the mix. Expectations remain for at least 90,000 fairs in fiscal year 2025. Overall, publishing results for Scholastic fiscal quarter 2 ended November 30th were also down. There we go. That works better. They were also down, with trade sales down 13% more than the book fair decline. Warwick said that the sales declines were due to release timing, and the company reaffirmed positive guidance for the full fiscal year. So they're basically saying because we had them late in December, they were unsuccessful. And, well, I guess that is their fault, isn't it, Glenn?
I don't understand any of this. It's just, I don't care. It's just, I'm not quite sure what they're trying to tell me.
So Scholastics has been better in book sales than, especially with graphic novels and things like that, than most other outlets have been. In fact, it was during the time where it was like the numbers were soaring up through 2020, 21, 22, even 23. Those numbers were largely built on the fact that they started including manga into those numbers, and Scholastics was then added into the overall sales numbers for those items, which included things like Dog Man and books like that. So what we're seeing here is that they're now in decline.
So they've lumped the whole thing together to make it look good, and it's gone down even more.
Yeah. So the one area that was really showing a real good net positive is trending the opposite direction now. So here's Zim.
Here I am.
It's Randy.
I'm not homeless. Not yet.
Randy.
Yeah, please.
Happy New Year, Randy.
New Year.
So I don't know if you were catching this at all, Randy, but
no.
Scholastics is down 5% from this quarter last year. They're having a rough year.
I don't know if they had a new, how many new Dog Man books they kicked out?
Well, they did have a record number of book fairs.
Oh, yeah.
Since the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, record number of book fairs. Okay. Now that explains it all.
Record number of book fairs and a lot less sales. They were all down.
Mm-hmm.
So overall there we go. That went quick. Overall publishing results for Scholastic fiscal quarter 2. I already read that one, sorry. Both Scholastic revenues and earnings were misses for the quarter, according to Seeking Alpha.
Yep.
Non-GAAP EPS of $1.82 was a 48-cent miss, and revenue of $544.6 million was a $9.4 million miss.
Oops.
The stock is trading at around 20% below where it was prior to the earnings release.
Maybe, anyway, no, I don't know.
Dogman has been, and Scholastic's graphics imprint, flagship property Dogman has been losing some steam with volume over volume sales decline.
Interesting.
You know what that means? That means that the readers are getting older and they're not
gaining new ones. Yeah. They're not
getting the new ones.
There's
it's the same thing that happens to comic books.
That's exactly what it is. Within the last 4 or 5 years, there's been an editorial sea change up at Scholastic as well. And I think that you're seeing, in a very small way, compared to what's happened to other people, the adage "get woke, go broke."
Yep.
As they've put out more books about DEI concerns than they have actually trying to entertain their readers. And I think you're going to see that percentage continue to drop as long as they keep holding up to those policies. There we go.
Nerd Bacon, the only show that we thank people for flipping us the bird. Thank you so much. Giving entertainment for that super chat and flipping us the bird. My first 4 comics were Batman, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Spider-Man, and Bone. I found all but Batman at a school fair. These things are crucial for comics. Yes, they are. That's where I learned about some of that stuff. You know what? Here, I've got some unfortunate news for you.
Sorry, before you start this, up the chat line, Russ at Comic Book Black Belt says Scholastic are 90% of the industry.
Yeah, and they're on the decline. That's what we were just kind of discussing a little bit.
Yeah.
We're having some trouble.
Just like Party City.
Party City. This place has been a staple for a long time. It's weird that this would be in comic book news, but the reason I think why it's featured is because it's the only store of its kind, really, that I know of. And they did carry games, board games, things like that. Card games. They did carry a lot of those in the checkout.
Yeah.
But Party City is going to be closing all of their stores,
which they threatened to do 3 years ago. I mean, the year before the pandemic hit. So it was 4 or 5 years ago. They've been hurting for a while.
They're saying by the end of February, all 700 of the remaining stores are going to be gone.
Boom. By the end of February.
By the end of February. Yeah, that's big news. That's big news.
It's a lot of layoffs. That's for sure.
They lasted for decades and decades, but could not survive 4 years of Biden. It's unfortunate.
Well, I just got to say that all the employees at Party City better hit the fast food restaurants as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Before the government starts laying off a lot of people that have absolutely no skills other than earning 180, 130, 180,000 a year for sitting at a desk and shuffling paper. That now's the time to get them.
Mask Bidenomics.
Now's the time to secure them jobs if you're going to get them.
Yep.
Because
Holiday
January 20th
promises
some more unemployment. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. What, 19 days away? Holiday spending up 3.8%. According to MasterCard Spending Pulse, retail sales, including automotive, grew 3.8% for the holiday period, November 1st through the 24th. According to MasterCard Spending Pulse.
Because when I think Christmas gift, I think automotive part.
Yes, yeah. You know what? I did go to the auto store and I bought what would technically be considered auto parts
Blinker
for my
fluid?
daughter for Christmas.
Okay.
No. I bought car accessories for her car.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah. So
need to send her in for blinker fluid.
She's too smart for that.
Okay.
I raised my kids around cars, so they know a thing or two.
Right.
If you send them for blinker fluid, she'd look at you and she'd probably have a couple words for you.
Is that like sending somebody for stripe paint?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
A left-handed screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there are people out there that would argue with you that there is paint that's better for stripes than others, and there is a screwdriver that fits better ergonomically in the left hand than the right hand, and yeah, because
the web is full of them.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I'm left-handed, and years ago I went to, it's a right-handed world, and I went to a place called York, and it has this, it's a lovely city. Anyway, it has this market thing, and there was a pair of left-handed scissors.
Yeah.
And I couldn't use them because I was so used to using right-handed scissors.
There you go. Yep.
I bet,
Not that I was going to buy them, I just wanted to try it, and I couldn't use it. Couldn't work it out.
So, according to MasterCard's Spending Pulse, which tracks in-store and online retail sales across all forms of payment, ordering goods online, whether shipped or picked up in the store, grew faster than transactions completed in store. Online retail sales were up 6.7%, and in-store sales grew at a slower 2.9% rate, but did grow. That's always good, right?
Yeah.
Both in-store and online holiday sales grew faster this year than in 2023, when online sales were up 6.3%, 2.2% in stores, and 3.1% overall. By category, restaurant sales grew at the fastest pace at 6.3%. You know, that's a sign that maybe the economy could be coming to a change if people are going out and eating again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
or that it's just closer to the holidays and people don't want to cook.
Right.
Yep.
Here's a good one for you. Yen Press reveals top titles and genres for 2024. So this is what was doing its best at Yen during 2024, which we know was pretty much killing it the whole year.
Yen's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Are they Korean?
Yeah.
What do they publish?
Something.
Build their tab lists both films and genres.
There we go. So Yen Press was revealed their top titles of 2025, and the list both confirm the publisher's strength in the fantasy sector and show some interest in other genres. Top titles of 2024 is Delicious in Dungeon, a series that didn't even make last year's list, but got a significant boost from the Netflix anime that began airing in January of 2024. Since then, it has picked up momentum, and Yen just released a complete box set, the 14-volume series. The first season of the anime covered the first 8 volumes of the series, and a second season has been announced. In addition to Delicious in Dungeon, the top 5 manhwa titles of 2024 were Solo Leveling, Toilet Bound Hanakukan, I can't believe I said that, and Bungo Stray Dogs, all of which were top titles in 2023.
Oh, Bungo Stray Dogs.
Look for that lineup to change next year, though. Solo Leveling will end with Volume 13. Yen will publish Volume 11 in February of 2025, so the series will likely end later that year. Similarly, Oshinoko recently ended with Volume 16 in Japan. Yen will publish Volume 9 in February. That's what makes the top debut of 2024 so interesting. There are the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. Quirky romantic comedy manga about a girl who has a crush on a mysterious black-clad staffer at her local CD shop. That sounds like nothing I would be interested in.
Transforming.
That is definitely not made for me. Yeah, that was not made for me. Unholy Blood, a dark fantasy manhwa that's currently serialized on Webtoons. Bungo Stray Dogs is the official comic anthology, a tie-in to the popular series, which itself has numerous spin-offs. Dark Souls Redemption, an OEL manga set in the world of the video game.
Any idea what OEL stands for?
You know, I have no idea, and I'm not even interested in trying to find out.
Okay.
But what I do want to talk about, sorry, we gotta do it
There's
again.
the logo of Doom there.
Doom and gloom coming soon.
For Diamond, it's been about 30 years.
Logistics snafus made holidays challenging for comic stores. Problems getting regular comics delivered. Logistics snafus that led to problems getting regular deliveries made the 2024 holiday season challenging in unprecedented ways for comic stores. Unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. The biggest source of problems was at Diamond Comic Distributors, which closed its Plattsburgh, New York distribution center in November and moved the processes being handled there to their Olive Branch, Mississippi warehouse.
Wonder how close to a penitentiary that one is. I thought they were in Memphis anyway.
The move from Plattsburgh was rushed due to Diamond's inability to extend its Plattsburgh lease on a month-to-month basis. After the end of its term, as it had expected, Diamond Chief Sales and Service Officers Chris Powell told retailers in a December 10 email, while we had made the decision to consolidate our distribution centers, the intent was to do so over a longer period of time in a slower part of the year, he wrote. Unexpectedly, the owner of the Plattsburgh facility chose not to extend our lease on a month-to-month basis, having identified another tenant without even advertising the space. This drastically reduced the time needed to plan and execute these changes. This accelerated timeline for our move, compounded by holiday schedules and necessary invoicing, reporting, adjustments, created a perfect storm that has affected you in unacceptable ways. Those problems included delayed shipments and inability to access invoices and shipping information on incoming shipments, creating scheduling, customer communication, and check-in problems for retailers that began the first week that shipments were to be handled in Olive Branch, the week of November 25th, and continued through the season. In subsequent emails, Powell told retailers that Diamond had added an additional shift, presumably through a staffing agency, that began work on Monday, December 16th, to help speed shipments. Powell indicated that they expected improvements to begin that week, while granting that the new employees would not pack as quickly as the legacy Olive Branch employees. While they may have been some improvements, shipments and data movement had not returned to the routine that existed before the warehouse move through at least Christmas week. Diamond declined additional comments beyond the message sent to the retailers. We do not have anything new to report, a Diamond spokesperson told ICV2. As we have any new updates, we'll be sure to share them with retailers promptly. We also heard of delays on lunar distribution shipments from comic retailers in multiple regions of the country, although much less frequently than we did on Diamond delays. In response to questions, Lunar Distribution co-owner Christina Merkler told ICV2 that lunar shipments were being made as usual and that delays were due to slowing carrier services. Lunar did not have shipment disruptions in December, she said. Any delayed deliveries would have been related to shipping carriers and issues due to the excessive number of packages that are now the norm for the holiday shopping season. Lunar packing operations were proceeding normally, she told us. The Lunar team worked through the holiday season as normal, and shipments were completed on time for all weeks. The 1/1 release week was completed on time, and we were still able to provide time off for our warehouse staff to enjoy the holidays with their families. Titles for 1/8 release are being processed now. This is written on December 28th. And no disruption is expected for those deliveries to be made on time as well. Things at Penguin Random House Publisher Service were quiet over the holidays.
Well, they need to take on more books then.
Yeah. Maybe they need to take on more of Diamond's stuff.
Workload? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, here's a new one. This is a new one, guys.
Harmful material.
So Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah. Arkansas federal court strikes down law that would put booksellers and librarians in jeopardy. The court ruled that the law, which made it a criminal offense to provide certain materials to anyone under 18, was unconstitutional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you're familiar, we talked about library, like they shouldn't have content that isn't for children in the children's section.
Yeah, I meant that I was talking about the illustration. Nothing wrong with that. Not what was said.
Nothing wrong with that.
There we are.
Yeah.
What an ample illustration to go with the article.
Yeah, ample. Yeah.
Ample.
But what about all that stuff in your schools recently about all the all those books? What about, does it not cover that?
Well,
that law covers that.
Yep.
That law covers that. Yes, it does cover that. And so Arkansas is trying to shut it down. They're trying to stop it. So
just certain people in Arkansas.
We'll keep it updated on that stuff and how things go. But yeah, good stuff.
We'll see how that runs.
So that's the news. That's the news for today. Not too bad. Not too bad of a news day. But I did have a couple of topics I wanted to bring up. So this is a, whenever we get a new year, sometimes we look at retrospect of what the year was before. I think we kind of, I think that's not really the most exciting thing to do. I would rather look ahead at some potential ways of improving our marketing and some different topics. And I would like to chat with you guys and get kind of your input as some people with some expertise in various areas of publishing. So we all know that the printing costs are getting much higher. We hope that changes, but I think, so a few things moving forward for, I think, our industry is we need to figure out a way to combat the higher price of printing and the production of the books that we make this year. So I'm going to bring up a couple of potential options, and I just want to discuss those with you guys. Maybe get the chat's input as well. We had mentioned earlier in a Arrow meeting about exploring alternatives like digital first releases. Doing things that were, we already do the print on demand and things like that. But what do you think about the idea of doing like a digital first release where it comes out first, only available on digital? Once it's reached a certain point, then maybe goes to physical. That's kind of one idea that I heard floating around as a potential way of combating those higher print costs. What do you think?
See, I wouldn't buy that. I like the physical aspect of it.
All right.
So that would cut me out. And obviously, I don't know how many people it would cut out, but I would imagine it would cut quite a few out, especially collectors and things like that. I mean, look at all the comics Randy's got behind him. Look at all this stuff I've got here. That's what I want. I don't want to, I don't want it all on my computer to open up and read. And I want to feel it and spill coffee on it and, swap it with something else.
I want the ability to put it through a paper shredder if I have to, or burn it.
Yeah. Well, I know that's what we want. All right, but the market is going away. I mean, if we look at sales, I'm just going to bring up some numbers here. I'm not actually going to throw the charts up on the screen or anything, but if we're looking at one of the number one indie crowdfunders of the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, was averaging numbers in the six figures easy on towards the end of their middle of 2024 on. They weren't able to average anything above 5 figures. So, they're going from 200,000, right, to 31,000 kind of numbers on their closing dates for their campaign. You look at Rippaverse, probably one of the largest launches of an independent comic that we've seen in our lifetime, right? To the tune of millions of dollars with ISOM. On its last book, it made like $10,000, I think, or 10,000 units were sold. If we're looking at units sold, it went from 62,000 units sold to a mere 10,000 units sold.
Do we want to discuss Rippaverse here?
No, I'm just saying we're looking at these numbers, right?
Okay.
Brian Polito's numbers are consistent, but not as strong as they used to be.
Right. Well, the economy's rougher too. So. Right.
The economy's rougher. Fan bases are more fractured than they used to be.
And I'd rely a lot faster on Polito's numbers than I would on Rippa's.
Right. But if we're looking at these numbers across the board, numbers are going down. Like we can't say, oh, that's an anomaly. That's because of this, because of that. It's because of a bunch of different factors. The reason why these numbers are going down.
No, Rippa is
but the fact is
an anomaly. But that's a whole other story.
But the fact of the matter is the numbers have been trending down. Even Scholastics, which was the largest portion of the graphic novel sequential storytelling market,
yes,
is going down. The industry is coming to a very those numbers that so we've always been going down, but the numbers got bolstered because they added Scholastics in, and now that's starting to go down. So we're starting to see these trends. So it can't just be what we want, right? It's what could a potential market want. It's not about me buying a comic book. It's about me selling a story to someone else. So let's put that hat on. Let's put on that, let's think through that, the tenacious spirit that comic book writers and creators and comic strip writers have been doing for decades. And what's the next phase? How do we move from a market in decline to taking advantage of what is at people's fingertips to get our stories out into more people's hands? And so one of those ideas that's been brought up is focusing more on digital release.
Well, that would be fine and good if the corporate digital people hadn't already spoiled that market by kowtowing to the Diamond's request and the retailer's request by charging physical cover price for a digital file. We'd have to switch over to a Shonen Jump model and charge people a small amount every month in order to come into a large library of material that would take us years to build up at this point.
See, Russ has a good point there, and we're selling to a younger crowd. I realise that, but is that younger crowd looking at comics?
Well, the Scholastic had that younger crowd, and they're currently Marvel and DCing into non-existence with their policies.
Right.
And there's probably, and Dogman has probably stagnated. Their new products coming in, folks don't want to read, so they're showing a slump in sales.
Yeah.
And the economy at the same time is bad.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
More Wagner says YouTube personality merch isn't a good measure. Well, in that case, every creator that has a YouTube, their measure doesn't count.
Well, they build up their own audience and they sell to their own people. You just can't compare it. It's like apples and oranges.
RT Bear,
we're going to have to figure out a way to reach the masses, which is the problem, and away from the small cliques that currently watch the YouTube channels.
I think the only one that would count that would be a metric to look at is Brian Polito, because he doesn't do a YouTube, does he? Maybe he does. I'm just unaware of it. Maybe.
I'm not aware of it either, but he does major build-ups like a circus side showman. I mean, he's got people anticipating his next campaign 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
As well, and he's got a built-in audience for booby books, and he's tried other than that, everything he tries other than Lady Death pretty much has a rough time making it because it's it's not Lady Death.
It's not Lady Death, yeah. Because it's not Lady Death, yeah. So, when you look across the board, I think, crowdfunding numbers were down across the board for everybody, and it's a wake up or die kind of moment, I think, for smaller independent publishers that are, glad to bring in a couple $1,000s a book, that
right.
This is not their full-time job. That, they're doing what they, they're doing this as a hobby. In some cases, they're doing it as a passion project. And then for those that have turned it more into a small side gig or side hustle, I think it's time for us to really, really consider if our passion is telling our story and not just selling our pictures or amassing followers or subscribers. We've got to start thinking outside the box. And so do you think digital's not an option for that?
I think there's a possibility, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket for sure, because to me, I've tried digital a couple times in the past. It's a soiled market. There's a level of expectation out there now that you're going to be fighting upwind to beat. Plus, Global Comics is out there. They're big, but they're big. They're all the little indie guys get lost in the shuffle now because they're showing favorites to the bigger publishers by sticking them on the front page.
Yeah, they've even changed a bit when it comes to that.
But the big problem is that the digital market's been soiled because you have two trains of thought, and this is why the mainstream, the corporate comics can't make it in digital. It's because they outprice themselves automatically right off the bat, because the retailers complained that their competition wasn't fair if you jumped up to a digital site and you were able to buy it for less than the cover price. So they kowtowed. They were in a catch-22 situation, so they kowtowed to the retailers, their current money, and Diamond's not doing anything to help them. Diamond and the other distributors, from what I've seen, aren't doing anything in order to grow that market out for them. So yeah, I think there has to be an alternative market or another way out there. I've been trying to keep my eyes open for that very thing the last couple of years, and I'm just not seeing it yet. I don't know what it would be in order to get comics out to the masses. I mean, you've got digests like Archie. That's a great sale. You've got Scholastic, and I don't know what the figures on the Archie books are, but I'm seeing less and less of them out on the grocery store, and I've been keeping track, unlike a lot of other people. And Scholastic obviously isn't making it either on their little hardcover format, charging $15 for a $5 book, charging $15, getting $9 for a $5 book, because most of these people buy the Scholastic hardbacks at a Sam's Club or a Costco for about $10, even though there's 15 marked on the cover. Yeah. Or at least they should be in order to get a discount.
Yeah.
There's the things that I'm seeing is I'm seeing DC trying to hit the dollar stores. I haven't seen what kind of product that is. If that's a $3.99 product they're trying to sell for $1, I'd be interested in seeing that. I know the anime books are out at $5 and below for $5, $4.99. That's nice. That's nice to see. A little thick, almost digest, a little bit anime size books printed on newsprint in black and white. I've seen that too, but and Webtoons is out there if you want to give your stuff away for free and hope you make some money somewhere down the line. Same thing with Tapas. And, other than that, where is there outside of a paywall that you have to steer everybody to?
Yeah. So,
and right now,
a good point.
The last thing anybody wants to do is pay more, pay a paywall anyway.
Sorry. Yeah. Hojo makes a good point. Even Twitter right now is clamping down on non-paying people and even the paying people. Links in they're just suppressing those because
that's been happening on Facebook for about the last 5 years. Anytime you try to pass a link.
And it makes sense. I mean, as a person that just scrolls those things, the last thing I want to see is just a ton of commercials. I get real sick of.
You already get that now.
The commercial, the commercial crap, right? Which is my problem, I think, with a lot of, and we're going to talk about marketing in a moment. Which is a big problem with that I have with a lot of independent creators or small publishers. You only hear from them when they're selling something, right? And I think the big problem with digital poses two problems. One is the majority of the digital audience wants it for free or cheap, right? But the creator side, what I'm noticing, the publisher side, is because the expense of making the book, and if it's only coming out digital, then they are increasing the cost of the digital to make money, because their cost to make the strip or make the book has either stayed the same or increased. Most likely it has not just stayed the same, it's increased in some way. I've actually seen people trying to create campaigns on Fund My Comic to pay for artists that will go on Webtoons. So they're trying to use it as like a Patreon or something.
Have any of those campaigns been successful?
No, not a one.
Not a one.
Not a one.
No.
Not a one. No.
Or you go the third route, which is literally 80% of webtoons by substandard work that are derivative or copying the other manga artists' work, because let's face it, manga is easy to grow.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't take the, it's
No,
not,
tons easy,
and
yeah.
I don't know if Glenn will back me up on this, but I don't think it takes the same skill set as it does to do regular American sequential, or not American, but European, and American and European sequential art.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
it's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different subset, and
Yeah.
it literally decompresses storytelling. I mean, that's why you've got Shonen Jump out there at 300 pages that people can flip through in a subway ride, because it's meant to be an easy read, where comics, American, European comics are not like that. Should I say Western comics compared to Eastern comics? Western comics aren't like that. They're made to be read like a novel, or, you know, as a story. And a lot of times, especially in the old days, the verbiage to the illustration was the verbiage to illustration ratio was a lot heavier.
So years ago,
which
when I was
slows
doing,
the reader down.
Years ago when I was doing music, you know, I kind of look at the indie music industry, small record labels, a lot like small press publishers. The tools for making those albums and getting that music out really evolved to where it was easy, where anyone could make a CD. You know, we all had like smaller studios that we could go to, and there was the ability to get CDs made and packaged to put in stores. But then with the advent of digital streaming, it killed the physical media almost altogether. You go to most stores, they don't carry a lot of CDs anymore.
For a few years.
DVDs,
But it's building back up, though.
Well, CDs are coming back slightly, and for independent artists, having 50 to 100 CDs of your EP or album at a show is a really good deal, because those are cheap and you make a lot of money off of them.
Right.
Whereas you don't make a lot of money off of streaming.
No.
You have to stream a lot to make a lot of money. You can sell one album and make as much as like 1 million streams, right?
And I'm seeing another problem springing up with streaming. And I ran across an article on that a day or so ago, is that the platform owners are controlling the content, and that they're going through and censoring stuff. There are movies out there that are available on Amazon, classic old films. I think It's a Wonderful Life was a prime example. They cut 25 minutes out of the film. Amazon Prime did, because it was problematic, quote unquote. Instead of leaving the thing alone and running it, and, you know, showing the full effect that the director intended, and that the piece of cinema was meant to do to begin with, they take out the problematic parts and completely shoot the plot, because they don't care.
Yeah, it destroyed the whole vibe of what the film was.
Somebody wants to complain that a certain scene is problematic, they're just going to cut it out.
Imagine if they released Mississippi Burning, they'd just show the title, wouldn't they?
They'd try to find Mississippi Burning anymore. You can't find that on any of the streaming services that I know of.
And yet it's a brilliant film.
The Ku Klux Klan! Oh no!
Well, there's a lot of really great cinema out there that you're not seeing anywhere, because it's problematic. It's got, it's a content of its time. That's why Marvel and DC don't go full bore on their reprint books.
And so the reason why I was bringing up in the music industry, one of the things that I noticed is that the places where you would get CDs as an independent artist has drastically changed. And there's still one company that seems to be doing quite well for artists, but they offer what they call an eco-friendly packaging. So it's a resealable sleeve, kind of like a comic book sleeve, but for a CD. And it has just the cardstock print around it that you sandwich the disc in and slide it down in there. So they've kind of found a new way to print on less material, reusable material, things that are going to reduce the overall cost. And so I can get 50 CDs for around $1 a piece if I wanted.
Oh, you mean made? You mean made or?
Yeah, made to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get 50 for about $1 a piece.
Okay.
Great deal, right? And I'm noticing that a lot of artists are moving into more eco-friendly ways of doing that. I was on a record label a while back where we actually had digital download cards. So you actually bought the album from the site, from from like an iTunes or whatever, but you could put in our coupon code and to say you bought it at here, and then you get it for free, or you download it, and so it was kind of weird how it worked. But thinking of like kind of eco-friendly ways, like maybe there's eco-friendly avenues that we haven't considered for comic books yet. Maybe it's moving away from full color, going to black and white. I don't know. I always loved full color, but I am noticing that a lot of people, especially that are buying manga, are pretty okay with black and white.
Yeah, you've got a whole generation growing up used to black and white manga comics. Yeah.
And I've seen some comics that I would much rather just see the comic line art than see it in color.
Right.
Yeah.
We've run into that a couple of times on the podcast where
we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Usually once a show, we go, man, I wish we could see this in black and white. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's I don't know, there's something.
Well, that's because it's bad coloring, isn't it? Not because of the color.
A lot of times,
because of the color, because it's bad color. Thank you, Bunny.
That's a good point there about the story, because I was going to say earlier that, like everything in life, there's always 15 sides to it. And one of the problems, I think, and we've discussed this, Randy, is the quality.
Mm-hmm.
And what we had, I was going to say to you, when I started reading comics, American comics, when I was 11, I bought every Marvel comic I could because they were all good.
Oh, yeah.
And they were 10 times better than any DC, in my opinion, right? In both writing and artwork. So it's like I say, everything's got, multi-sided. Where's the audience? The audience seems to be our age, 35 and over.
Mm-hmm.
And all those kids are disappearing because they're on their phones. They've got all the apps and whatever it is they have on the phones. They're not reading comics. You see what I mean? So our
but they're still taking in stories.
Our audience is dying out, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even seeing them take to stories at all either, because the
no, that's not true at all.
Isn't very incredibly story.
Oh
heavy.
No, it is. No, it very much is.
I got a granddaughter right now that all she watches on YouTube are people opening toy packages and playing with toys. No plot there or structure whatsoever.
But my son and daughter are both gamers, and they are interested in the story content of the video games. There's definitely storytelling that takes place in those games.
I figured that was why they couldn't get a decent video game adaptation out there until recently, was because the actual weight of the story was nothing.
No, it's because they're not staying true to the content.
Mm.
They're not staying true to the source material. Same thing with comic book movies. We're seeing the same thing with video game movies. The story, Sonic 3 just came out and is doing quite well because Sonic, believe it or not, has a very good story to it. It was successful as a comic book, still is.
Well, it's got a number of different stories to it. I've seen a couple of videos about the arguments over the universes that were started and created and messed up or whatever. So
I've not seen all the Marvel films and DC films and all that, but I have said that Watchmen's the best superhero film I've seen because it was almost true to the
book.
Yeah.
How did that do at the box office?
Did all right.
Really well.
Didn't really blaze any hardcore trails, but the loyalist fans were grateful for it because, like you said, it's the best adaptation of that. Well, at that time, it was definitely the best that they had done. But Max right now is currently doing an animated Watchmen in 2 parts. That is amazing and is exactly what they should have done back in the 80s when Watchmen first came out. Looks exactly like it, sounds exactly like it, and it's got a great cast, a great audio cast,
voiceover cast.
Yeah, voiceover cast. That's working it. There's only the first half of it out available on Max, but I watched it the other day, and I was really impressed. It had everything in it: Tales of the Black Freighter, and all of the
But
little
don't forget-
nuances that you would see in that book.
But don't forget that gets back to the quality in general, and Alan Moore in particular as a
Yeah,
writer.
yeah. Yep,
So
it
that
does.
tells you something.
Mhm.
And like you said about manga, I don't like using this term, but manga to me is more throwaway. It's just mass-produced throwaway stuff. And comics used to be that, and then all of a sudden they weren't. And I don't know where they're going now.
Well, that's because the Japanese sat there and looked at what was selling on the American market at the time, and they've taken it and culturally evolved it in their own personal direction.
Yeah.
And now we here in the West are trying to catch up to what they've evolved into.
Well, I think they've done a few good things really well,
de-evolved,
right?
I guess you would say. What?
So let's be really honest. The culture around the artist is a lot different in Japanese sequential art than
they're
it is in
treated as
American
actual
sequential art.
artists. Yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're not. It is.
A lot of the big guys are, absolutely.
You've got the writer and the artist are usually the same guy. Okay. But if you're on the production line, it is not.
Well, it's the same as Marvel and DC here. You get a basic page rate or an hour rate, and then you're kicked out the door.
Well, if you're doing it the Marvel method, so-called, the artist is the writer.
Yeah, but there's a lot more
True,
Stan Lees over in Japan than what there are here.
Yeah. But
and they're looked at with high esteem.
The point of these manga, these Japanese storytelling, it's got to come out fast. So these guys are producing at a rate that most American artists can't do. Most British artists can't do it. They just can't work that fast.
No, they don't
There's
have
no
five
way.
assistants either. They don't have a guy who specializes in hands.
Yeah.
Or Jeeps or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have background artists. We still have background artists. We've got layout artists. They've got layout artists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not that much that's dissimilar, except for the fact they have so many artists that they're like, get it work done or don't work.
Well, they're probably
It's
paid
basically how it
better
works.
for one,
They're not-
and for two, there's an assembly line over there. That's
Actually,
a lot
they're
more
not-
refined than what we've got over here.
That's the other thing. They're actually not paid better. That's why they have to work at such higher rates so that they can make a reasonable living. They have to produce more in order to make more money. They're not getting paid more per page. They're getting paid more because they are producing more work.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we say, wow, they're doing a lot of things really well as far as making sales, but it's also a very difficult industry to work in, and it chews people up a lot faster. It's very much akin to the throwaway art form that comics was early in the day.
I was
They
going to
made
say,
Wally
just
Wood
like old
say,
style American comics.
yeah, just like old style American comics. It's exactly in that same vein. What happened was when people started realizing the stories here were good and the art was good, we became a collector's market, and then we started making rock stars out of the artist.
Yeah.
Right? And so with that, rock stars, they want more money, they want longer production times. So the production cost of the books went up, which means the price of the books go up, and it puts us into a place where we're at right now. So we have to find a way to bring those production costs back down, make it more reasonable for the consumer, because the consumer is not, it's great. It was great in the, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, early aughts, when people had money to spend. We had money.
Well, comics were also
spend on those things
then too. So
right,
yeah.
they were lower cost, and we had money, to spend on that lower cost item. So it wasn't like I have to choose between a comic or a gallon of milk because they're the same price.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a gallon of milk now is cheaper than a comic book.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So now it's like I could buy that comic book, or, it's just, for a lot of people, the financial investment doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think if we're going to survive, we have to find a way to lower our cost to the consumer. And we have to find a way to make it available to the consumer effortlessly, because that was the other thing. At its heyday, comic books were on every newsstand, and everybody went to the newsstand every day to get the paper. Like, or they went to the drugstore, they went to the deli, and there were comic books on a spinner rack right next to the counter, while mom's standing there, getting the lunch meat for the week. There's a new comic book on the shelf, and I'm begging her to buy it for me. And it was only 50 cents. So there was no reason why. She was like, okay, that's cheaper than a candy bar. Here you go. And that's how I would get my comics when I was a kid, because they were there. They were in front of me. They appealed to me, and they were cheap. So it wasn't terrible for my mom to buy.
And you also had to get them there and then, or otherwise you never saw them again. There was no direct marketing. There was no comics shops. But when I was a kid in the mid-60s, when all this was happening, television was just coming over here, really. We'd always had a television, but it was getting bigger. So there was things to watch as well. And the imagination, and we were all captured by these things. Do you understand what I mean? So it's a different time. I think, I don't want to put down on it, but I think we're losing it. I think we're losing. I've certainly lost my way because of the way I produce my comics and what I want to read. I don't have a mobile phone. I don't have all the apps. I don't have all that sort of stuff, and it's my choice. It's not that I couldn't use it, because I use a computer all the time, but I don't want to get into all that kind of stuff, which is what I said earlier, but that I wouldn't buy a digital version of something. But that doesn't mean that people wouldn't. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
There seems to be like I said, there's a I'm trying to be so pessimistic, but the audience isn't there. The young audience isn't there, I don't think. They want everything now. They want everything last week. It's got to be explained. There's no sense of anticipation. There's no what's the word? They can't wait. They need to know now. They can't. They can't,
no hardcore audience.
Yeah, you can't read for 5 issues to get the reward at the end of it. Get the playback. You've got to know now.
Yep.
And that's the difference.
Well, in the old days, it was all done in one. Most of the time, maybe 2 or 3 at the most.
Yeah, well, that's what Stan Lee and Kirby brought in.
That's back when the comics were raging.
Yeah, but when Kirby and Lee got hold of it, they started doing the longer stories and subplots, didn't they? Making it more interesting, keeping you in. But the quality was there.
Right. And you still got a level of story content that by the time you reach the end of the issue, you would feel like you have accomplished something. You had gone, you didn't just go from point A to point one like they do in these decompressed comics now. You actually had a story with a couple of subplots in it that continued on to the next book.
Yeah, I also
or some soap opera elements that they could string you along with and keep you reading.
It's attention span, and people aren't interested. I'll give you a quick story about my daughter. When she was about 11, she asked me where somewhere was in the world, So I told her, and I said to her, "Do you not know where this place is?" It was something like Paraguay or somewhere, and she said no. So I showed her on a map, and I said to her, "What would you do if an alien landed and asked you where Bolivia was?" She said, "I'd ask him to see you."
Yeah.
Because she couldn't be arsed learning where anywhere was or where anything was. And I think that's what we're up against. We want to produce quality work, and there's a lot of crap out there. And we're lost in the blizzard. We can't, people don't see it. And mainly they're not looking for it because they don't know. So it's a catch-22.
So for the next couple of minutes, I do want to change gears a little bit. So, we've talked about the doom and gloom of people don't see it, short attention spans. But you know what people do see? They're seeing TikToks and Reels and Shorts.
Yeah.
My daughter and I last night were chatting about our YouTube history, and she's like, I was so embarrassed for my boyfriend to see it. Not because it's, anything bad on there, but because it's like,
your boyfriend?
Video about this, video about that, and her boyfriend,
She's only 10. Got a boyfriend, isn't she?
She's 22.
That's a joke, Luke.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
She was 10 last week.
Yeah, it feels like it. But she goes, it's just like 1,000 shorts. Like I just watch shorts all the time.
Yep.
Like, I that's what I do. I watch shorts all the time. A lot of the cool stuff that I find out about that I go to research later, I've seen on a short.
Mm-hmm.
And I start thinking, I think in 2025, our marketing needs to be focused on not pitching a sale, not pitching a link for a book to be bought, but pitching our story in short forms.
Yeah.
Do quick motion graphics with our pages, plop them up there, do voiceovers work with it, do these quick, like tell one scene of our story, send that out on a reel and send that out there. I think that is where comic book marketing is going to have to go, because it is about the story.
And then we should probably take a line of bets to see how long it'll take the algorithm to catch it and want to charge us for a commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it'll take it long at all.
Mm-hmm.
But at best, if people are watching it, then the people that are paying for commercials, those commercials will play on our stuff, and then we'll get ad revenue from it. I mean, at best, so that's, so I started thinking about the music industry and how do people make money in the music industry right now? Most of them can't do full-time music. They have to have another job doing something else. Right? But anybody I can record a song right now and release it on iTunes and Spotify tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if it does well, then I will make some money off of those streams.
Mm-hmm.
What if we treated comics like recording a song and putting it out on a streaming service? Except streaming, we're doing little video shorts of a scene from our book, and maybe we break it up into 2 or 3 different of those. Part 1, subscribe for part 2, and we do the stories in parts, so people are getting the stories, they get interested, and then we throw them with if you like the whole thing, you can find the book over here, or you can find it over on the whole digital over on Global Comics or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Being more clever about how we get people hooked on our stories is vital, I think. I think we're missing an opportunity with shorts.
I don't know whether we can take a chance on this or whether you would take a chance, right? Because it's a chance. But I tell you what really irritates me when I'm watching YouTube is that 10, 15 seconds in, they say, before we go on, subscribe to this and check this out and buy this T-shirt and do this. And let's do something without any of that and make people think, what is that? And do you understand? Stop giving them all the information. Leave them pondering.
Yeah.
And then it's down to us to produce something good. But let's not say, like you said then, do 2 or 3 episodes, whatever you call them, and then hit them with a subscribe, because I don't want to see that. If I want it, I'll find it.
Well, yeah, and most of them do. Like if they want more, they will find it.
There's a guy called Beard Meets Food. Have you seen that?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Right. Have you seen how many followers he's got? How many subscriptions?
Yeah.
He's got 4.5 million. And he never says, buy my T-shirt, subscribe. He doesn't say any of that.
He does, but he does it for charity. Usually towards the holiday season, he'll kick something out, ask somebody to contribute to it. But he makes all of his money off of it seems he makes all of his money off of his YouTube channel and the fact he's in a rock band. So
yeah, but what I'm saying,
he just went through Michigan the last couple of months.
Yes, yeah. I was going to ask you about that. He was there. Yeah. He doesn't on his main show. Then I don't know about his charities. I know he's in a rock band, but he doesn't pitch. He doesn't say, "Oh, buy this, buy my book, buy this."
No,
buy that.
his whole video though. The whole drive on that is people that want to watch him to see if he's going to make it or not make the challenge.
Yeah, and the other thing
and it's really an ad for the restaurant that he's going into.
Yes, I think the main thing about him is him.
Yes, too.
He's a great guy. He's funny, and he looks great, and he's good, and he's and I never want him to fail.
So he takes his napkin and wipes his
Yeah,
face real
normally,
funny. Yeah,
normally
he's
I'd
got his
want,
own
the
little
guy,
thing.
I'd want the guy to fail. I don't want him to fail because
No.
he's likable.
No, but the wife and I sit there and we watch his videos and we go, yeah, about a tenth of that, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, after what he would eat in 5 minutes, we'd eat in half an hour. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, that, I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, Hojo says he made a TikTok video as a test a month ago. 0 views as of now because you made a video a month ago. The algorithm will never pick you up because you don't have content for people to take in. You have to understand the content. Like I started doing TikTok with my shorts last year, and I literally get.
You should have done it literally with your shorts.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah.
That I know what you mean. Sorry. I was doing some TikTok with my shorts. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and I did when I was posting them. I just went in and posted them on TikTok as well.
Mm-hmm.
I get several hundred views on each one of them, and I get people. The comments that I get are normally.
Why are you here?
No, that will hate on something that we say.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Like
that old gray-haired man's full of shit. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get people telling us that we're full of crap all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fine with it. Like, yeah, we are. I'm like, yeah, we're full of crap. I mean, we're 3 old guys that complain about comic books. I mean,
3 old farts.
Yeah, like this is what we do. We're men over 40, and so no, I don't take anything you say personally.
There's a YouTube channel out there now, Geezers on Comics. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you get upset by something I say, man, that's on you. I'm not taking responsibility for that.
I hear you.
Like, you know, I'm not getting upset by something you've put in my comments. I don't care.
Then
Like,
after a
honestly, I
while,
don't
you
care.
just, you know, I've done that to a lot of YouTube channels, so you don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here.
Yeah, just whatever.
Yeah. Unsubscribe.
You can gain subscribers, lose subscribers. You know, at the end of it,
perch.
Anyway, she said.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen.
Got attacked by your microphone?
No, the cat. We adopted this dumpster cat, and she likes to crawl all over my desk. So don't step.
Yeah, I got one of those too. I keep her out of the basement though. But
stay out of my.
Yeah, she'll climb all over me when I'm sitting in the living room, and she hates anybody else that comes in. Everybody goes, "Why do you have such a feral cat?" She says, "I don't know what you're talking about." Sitting here, she's purring, you're petting her. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks at him and
she's a pretty cat. I mean, but yeah, she's
Apex
she's
says the
feisty.
3 old farts. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's why we miss Pedro. Pedro, where are you, buddy?
Yeah, and you gotta keep. You just gotta keep on when it comes to those things. You gotta be consistent, making regular content.
That's the big key.
Yeah, whether it's
gotta
good
be
or
regular.
not, just put it out there, make consistent stuff, and that's how the shorts work because then it gives them something to send people to. If you don't have anything for them to send people to,
it astonishes me how many comic-oriented channels there are out there with a huge amount of subscribers, and quite frankly, they are not good. And I mean that the nice, you know, that's the nicest way to put it. They're just not good.
People are hunting for a morsel of decent content.
Yeah,
when it comes to comic book stuff,
entertainment.
Right?
Yeah.
The video that I have that gets the most views is how to do the book settings in Clip Studio to do a American comic book. That video gets so many views, like regularly. It's my top performing video easily, and so I'm starting to produce more stuff.
I have to dig out
like
my Ames lettering guide and do one. Hey kids, this is an Ames lettering guide. Do you know how to use this thing?
This is how you do it.
Look at this
Most
crazy
people, I have
thing.
no idea how to use that thing.
Here's a flexible ruler. How do you use that?
Yeah. Oh, I love my flexible ruler.
You need one of them. Flexi curve.
Yeah, get a little flexi curve action working. Introduce kids to what a circle template is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think marketing, especially for us, we need to be thinking more about how do we just tell bits of the story in short form. We're gonna have, and here's the thing: you're gonna have to give stuff away for free.
If
you're out there,
I keep thinking about doing channel of video comic oriented shorts, the grumpy old man type stuff, or Spank the Monkey type, you know.
Spank would make great shorts.
Just real quick 3-5 minute, you know, what are you doing? Kind of thing.
No, shorter than that.
Really?
Minute and a half max.
Minute and a half?
Max.
Really?
Yeah.
Minute and a half.
It's so easy to come up with a minute and a half content.
I gotta.
You gotta trim it down. Actually,
I got a shredder. I can do it. Heck yeah.
I mean, simple stuff. Talking about, you know,
start a channel. Spank the Comic Shredder. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. People like your brutal honesty. It looks like.
Hey, thanks, Apex. Appreciate you. Just trying to be honest here. Just want the. If you watch my podcast, you know I just love this. I love this industry. I love this art form, and I just want it to get better. I do.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I want to be read. I tell people at shows all the time when I throw in a free book, I'd rather be read than rich. You know.
Yeah. Right. I think we all want to be read.
I'd rather be both.
Well, that is the ultimate goal. Yes.
And the dog agrees.
I'm not going to turn money down. Yeah.
Layla agrees. With that, the activity in the house from the animals tells me it must be about 10:30.
You're right.
Which means it's about time to cut this thing off and put it in the done folder for the day. Guys, I think that we have a lot to look forward to when it comes to ways of potentially cutting cost and getting out to more readers. There's even a topic a subject we didn't get to today.
Russ.
But
anything important?
Hopefully, no.
Can I just say
this?
Just
another one of these subjects.
I think the way to go in terms of publishing and printing is to do graphic novels, do larger size graphic novels, which is what I'm doing with my World War II story. It's not a regular. It's not going to be a floppy. Not going to be every month. It's going to be a one-off. It's going to be big. It's going to be full color, and that's the way I think it's going.
This one's going to be big, but it'll be in black and white. But dig that color cover.
Oh yeah,
love that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Atlantean 2, folks. The campaign for that will be on Fund My Comic no later than March. Russ is busy at work doing the artwork for it now, and I wrote him a complete script so I don't have to go back to it again and try to fill in dialogue unless I have to. So really proud of the story. It moves real fast. If you like number 1, you're going to love number 2. That's what she said.
Best thing about that is the logo.
Yes, it is. It's an amazing logo.
It's brilliant.
The thing about that's the logo.
Story's great. I took a small synopsis that Russ had written up, a short story kind of plot from Charles Santino, who's got experience writing for Conan, blended those two together into what I hope is a cohesive story that Russ is currently drawing, and it moves real fast, and I'm very, very proud of it. So I know Russ is having a ball drawing it. Every page I get, I write him back and I go, that's not what I had envisioned. It's better. So when I wrote the page, it's just going to be a great, great package. Ink spots painted my pencils for the cover, Russ says. Yeah. Great, great stuff.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lots of fun. But yeah, I agree with you, Glenn. I think that right now with crowdfunding, the only way you can go is long form and graphic novel. But there has to be a way, and I keep looking for it. I hope we're going to find it soon, to get comics out to the masses again, and more importantly, generate a new reading audience for that kind of product. I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen, but I really want to see it happen, because right now manga doesn't care how young their audience is. They're not nurturing anybody. Scholastic barely cares, except that they're on a soapbox right now of progressivism that I don't that I don't at all agree with, actually. And there needs to be just straightforward, fun entertainment, quality entertainment back in this art form again. And you're seeing it in little flashes, but it's way too small. You go to your local retailer and take a look. Ghost Machine stuff reads pretty well, but there's no real solid IP there. There's no meat on the bone. They're too busy trying to cater it to a Netflix season, as opposed to generating an IP. Like I think Cyberfrog is a grand example of an IP that's out there where he's selling different things of merchandising and stuff like that. Not necessarily created fast enough, or and the art style isn't necessarily my thing, because I think he's works too realistically. But there needs to be good, stylized, entertaining, quality comics out there again to the masses. And we have to find a cheap format to make that work.
You answered your own question. Then you'd rather be read than rich. So the way to do that is to put quality out there.
Yeah,
and the riches will come, won't they? The merchandise and the podcasts and all that stuff will come.
It's a slow build, but I think it will. Yeah. That's why we keep doing those podcasts. That's why I think Nerd Bacon is important.
Yeah.
Just that regular exposure out there.
I don't believe that at all.
What?
I don't believe that if you just put out quality that stuff will come.
Well, I think it's a matter of being seen and having eyes brought to you. That's the key.
Because there's plenty of people that have got all of that, and their stuff is not good, or not that good. I mean, think about it. I mean, there's the stuff that's popular isn't necessarily good.
Gee, if I could take there's three people I can think of right off the bat. If I could take the three of them and combine them together into one entity, I think we'd be almost there. If you had a proper IP with an identifiable logo, if you had the marketing in place, if you had the distribution down, I think you'd do real well. The problem is nobody has that combination yet. Yeah. And there has to be a better way to market for just all the way across the board in order to get more eyes to your product. There has to be.
Yeah, well,
even Bone was looked over for years until Scholastic picked it up and decided to market it properly for the kids.
We can't do business as usual.
No,
because it's not. I think if you think that you're going to do comic books as an independent or small press publisher, the same way this year that you've been doing it, by the end of 2025, you won't be doing it anymore. I just don't think that's going to be the case, because things change so quickly, and they've already changed so quickly, so drastically, that we've got to start getting on.
It's got to be reinvented. We've got to
figure out. Yeah. We've got to figure out what to do to get out there.
Like I said, it's multifaceted. You've got to have a quality product, the marketing to show everybody, and then you've got to have the distribution to get it to them.
Exactly what I was saying.
And all those are just as important as each other.
They are, yeah.
So, and we've said before about Diamond and stuff, and the monopoly on the distribution service for comics.
Well, we've been stagnated for 30 years because of that, by a company that strong arms their will for distribution, telling retailers what they can and cannot sell in their own individual stores. And that stagnation has now come back to roost on a lot of that stuff. And we have to go out there now and generate whole new interest, because they haven't bothered the last 30 years. That's why anime is as big as it is. That's one of the reasons why anime is as big as it is.
If you think about it, no new properties, no new IPs have come out to really make a splash since the 90s.
Bone, Turtles.
With
Who
Image.
Else? Yeah.
Image maybe. With Spawn, but
Walking Dead,
the other
maybe.
Things stop. Yeah, Walking Dead.
Zombies, yeah.
But that was so.
That's soap opera. I could make.
That was so different. Yeah, that was so different compared to superhero stuff that we were used to. I think the newest superhero that has really done anything is Deadpool. And
maybe a little of Invincible because of the marketing and the extra curricular. But I gotta admit, I've never read an Invincible. It just was never of interest to me, and I like Superman, I really do. But Kirkman's a whole nother story. So,
yeah, I liked Invincible. It was pretty good. It was a little graphic. I think that was part of the shock value.
Read The Boys for the first couple years, and got tired of it.
Wasn't really a fan of that.
The wife liked it a lot, but she doesn't read it anymore either. We're 2 seasons behind on the show. We don't care. So it's about as gross as you can. That's not my idea of superheroes. You know, there's a whole, and maybe somebody needs to sit down and write a good old style rule book on what a good fanciful superhero property could actually be like and do. You know, you go back and you reread the Wolfman Perez first 50 Teen Titans, or the first 50 Defenders, the first set of Claremont Byrne, Austin X-Men, and before that, up until the team is formed. That stuff holds up. You go back and you reread that stuff, it's just as entertaining as it was when you first picked it up as a kid.
There's a lot of great, entertaining things that have been written that no one's read.
There needs to be really good superheroes out there, not this realistic crap that the corporate's trying to force down our necks. And it does.
I do like whimsy. We don't have enough whimsy in comics anymore.
And they can have all the sexuality that you want. Just label it adults only, for an adult audience. But you have to also have some lighthearted stuff. Archie is they've got to be making a comeback doing their digest stuff. They've been out there for longer than Diamond's been in existence, selling these digests at grocery stores. And yeah, they take full returns too, so they have to eat the ones that don't sell. So there's a reason why they keep kicking these out, you know, and they're kicking out original material in this stuff too. They went out and they found these old Silver Age workhorses, Al Milgram, Ron Friends, and people that know how to work in the business, and they're putting original stuff in the front of these books in color. And they seem to be making money. They're still doing it. They're charging $10 a book for this now. Used to be $1.25.
How many pages is in that?
It's got to be 200 and something. The majority of it's reprint, but there's about 20 pages of this that's original material. This one here I picked up because it's Jughead and it's superhero. It's his superhero special. Jughead is Captain Hamburger. You know, they've got superhero equivalents for all the Archie characters. But in the front here, they even got Big Ethel as I think they call her Big Ethel, and she grows big. They're like Goliath. Got an E on the front of her costume, and they run the different Archie superheroes through here and their villains. You know, and a lot of it's reprint. 3/4 of it's reprint, but 22 pages is all original plus the cover.
It's nicely drawn as well.
Well, they've got a house style finally that they realize that people want to buy. They want to buy this Archie. Yeah. And they don't want to buy this Archie.
Yes.
Right.
And they had Mark Waid drawing and some realistic people trying to draw Archie for a couple of years. And I think they bought the farm with it because all the digests you see out there now is of the cartoony dot for eyes Archie like we always used to see.
It's what we want, man.
It's what we want.
It's
what the grandparents will buy the grandkids, you know?
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, it's definitely time to cut it off today.
More of this.
Yeah.
More of that. Guys, go out there. Try to leave the wood pile a little bit higher than you found it. Build up more than you tear down. And please, 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 be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion for the bullet. Let's be careful out there.